Hello fellow card fighters, this is Blaster Mez with another video, and this is for the fan vote that I asked both groups in the Vanguardians card fight Vanguard North American group as well as the North American Vanguard group. With a whole bunch of good amount of votes, I'm happy to see how this top 10 list so far turns out to be, but hopefully the next top 10 list will get a lot more voters. I know there's a lot of members within the North American Vanguard group and the Vanguardians group, and I'll try to add more groups into this, so that gives me a lot more work to try to do. It's going to take a while considering I have to learn how to navigate Facebook at a much better level to get to the ones that are for foreign groups like any in Australia, the UK. It just doesn't kind of come up regularly on Facebook, but I think I still have some ways of doing it. So let's get down with this top 10 list here. So the top 10 that made it is definitely a good amount of cards that have been seen in the meta of the game Cardfight Vanguard. But as for who gets the number 10 spot, it's right now a multiple tie with four cards correct. Crayon Tiger, Perdition Dragon, Dragonic Neoflame, Hail Pineapple, as well as Frozen Ovo. I know I don't have these pictures on here right now because it was such a jammed up spot for the 10th position. And trust me, a lot of these cards I just want to try to get through as best I can without a problem. So moving on from therein, we're going to go to the split between 9 and 8, which is going to be between Perdition Dragon, Menace Laser Dragon, as well as Blaster Dark Abyss. These two cards are definitely been seen in different decks that fit their build, such as Blaster Dark being in the top Phantom Blaster Legion Blaster Dark Stride deck, and I believe also Perdition Dragon, Menace Laser Dragon has been seen a lot within the Dragonic Overlord Legion deck. The Perdition Legion deck, of course, with I forgot them. I believe it's Dragon Newt, which is the other Legion Perdition unit. So basically, Perdition Dragon, Menace Laser Dragon's ability is when it's placed in rear guard with Perdition Dragon as your Vanguard, you get to counterblast and choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the same column and retire that unit, which is a pretty good ability. As well as Blaster Dark Abyss being when he's placed on Vanguard, you can counterblast one as long as you have a Revenger unit, because this is the Revenger Abyss version, which I haven't said correctly. Counterblast one and retire one grade 1 unit your opponent controls. So these are both good units that are for getting rid of any troubling units. Moving on to number 7, you're going to have Companion Star Vader, Photon, and when this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Star Vader's name and your opponent has a lock card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, lock it, and that lock card of course can't be turned face up until the end of your opponent's next turn. So combine it with the Legion, it helps do a full lock no matter what for the field. This guy is pretty troubling, and we of course know the Link Joker after the Troubling Clan. It's good to see this card on this list being once again one of the many cards from the meta list. Next up is Overlord Agravell in number 6. Overlord Admirals is definitely another one, considering his ability is such an easy ability. When you get just place on a Vanguard, counterblast 1, and then search for a card with Liberator's name from the top 3. And how Gold Paladin decks are now, since they use the Liberator engine a lot, they could mill through a whole bunch of cards through the deck and get the units they need. So they still become one of those problem decks that you're definitely going to see during a lot of tournament play. And next we're going to jump to the number 5 spot, which goes to Jewel Knight Swordsman. Jewel Knight Swordsman jumped up there because of his ability with the Jewel Knight engine to counterblast 1 and call a grade 1 unit. With that type of ability, just to plus a unit, you could call less units to the field and reserve your hand. Since on grade 2, second you get a damage, as long as it's a Jewel Knight, you counterblast 1, get a grade 1, call second grade 2 on the field with your Vanguard. That is actually a good pressure card that's been seen a lot in play and definitely will keep seeing play. Number 4 we're gonna jump to on this list is John Cena. No, it isn't. I'm sorry I had to point this out to people. John Cena, it can't be the number 4 card because it only goes to the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Bret the Hitman Hart. Remember that, people. But no, seriously, the number 4 spot will go to Blaster Dark. This classic card being a counter blast pop 1 card on your opponent's side of the field is a very good ability, especially with his ability that he gains plus 1000 when you have Blaster Dark Javelin in the soul. I'm sorry, Blaster Javelin in the soul. So he becomes a 10k unit in Vanguard. It's just too bad his ability wasn't also accessible in rear guard, which would have made him so much amazing. He will probably still be even higher as an SP if that came to reason, considering he hasn't had a hollow reprint in a while at all, and he's still just a rare. Now we're gonna jump to the number 3 spot, which goes to Blaster Blade. Blaster Blade being another classic card that's still good in the game, and it should probably see a little bit more play, maybe considering with the new deleter deck, especially combined with Blaster Blade before he becomes Blaster Blade when he's Swordsman on like Amez, which accesses his ability at a free cost. As you know, Blaster Blade's classic ability is when he's on Vanguard, counterblast 2, retire 1 unit your opponent controls, which is a good disturbance play when you want to get rid of a good grade 0 unit your opponent has. It might be problematic in game. And then you add his secondary ability, which is Counterblast 2, retire 1 grade 2 or higher unit. That's why he's considerably a much better card than Blaster Dark, but Blaster Dark is still a cool card, no problem on that. And now as we hit this top 10, we're going to jump to the next card, Tidal Assault at number 2. Tidal Assault definitely deserves the number 2 spot, and considering we're about to get ready to have the next generation of Aquaforce units that are about to come out, you might be feeling like adding this card in the deck. Its ability is at the end of the battle that this unit attack, you can stand this unit but reduce his attack by 5,000 attack. You only can use this ability once per turn. Now that still works well enough with the Aquaforce's ability where they need to attack in multiple times during the turn. So you definitely might want this card to be a key card in your deck as a striker unit. And by what I mean striker as in getting off any attacks. So considering you're going to attack a rear guard, make your opponent drop a card, stand him, and if you have a booster in the back, you can still swing in with a big enough attack to make them think about whether they want to drop another card, whether you're trying to get rid of a unit or just make a damaging attack. And that's a good pressure card even early game. And now we come last to this number 1 spot, going to Silent Tom. This card is definitely one of the classic cards that people do use still in the metagame, which are relevant. That it proves that Vanguard at least keeps it a point where you might want to keep older cards, but also that's a lot with other card games. His ability is during this battle, when this unit attacks, if you have Oracle Thing take Vanguard, your opponent cannot call grade 0s to guard a circle. And this works on Vanguard as well as on rear guard. This card is definitely regardless a brutish card when you need it to be, especially when you just drop triggers and your opponent has to be able to guard it. So late game he's definitely still a variable problem when you need him to be. And now I'm going to break down this list now that we see the top 10 as is. I'm going to give all the vote counts of how many so far. With 150 votes from both the Vanguardians group as well as 63 votes from the North American Vanguard group, coming out to a total of 213 votes. Silent Tom has a total of 52 votes. Tidal Assault 49 votes. Blaster Blade with a total of 31 votes. Blaster Dark with 15 votes. Swordsman with 13 votes. Aggravel with 7. Companion Star Vader, Star. No, I'm sorry, that just gets tiring to say when you say Star twice. Companion Star, Star Vader, Photon with 6, Blaster Dark Abyss Revenger with 5, Perdition Dragon with 5, and Hail Pineapple with Dragonic Neoflame, Crayon Tiger, and Frozen Ogre with 3. So this was a pretty good fan vote to see happen, and hopefully the next fan vote, which I'm gonna say right now, is a fan vote. What is the most cutest card in Card Fight Vanguard? So hopefully we'll see what you guys have to say on that. Make sure you leave comments in the bottom section, and I want to see those votes pile up because I like to see it. Just see what you guys think and opinion. Even tell me how good, whether this list is or bad this list is, and I'll definitely repost the new votes on Facebook's groups again this time, just to get total voting that way, so that way I make sure to get a good scaling. Until next time, this is Blaster Mez, and I'm signing out.